do pound through it. I really do enjoy my beer on the show.
Oh, yeah.
But I better get this show on the road. Welcome to the Pagey Train. I'd like to welcome to the studio Goche Akirchos. Achikos.
That's
so
good.
Close.
Very good.
Filmmaker, director, writer, and owner-operator of Peacock Productions. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
I must say, just before we get started, I've been, because I follow a lot of people online, and you're just so productive. You're always working, and I think it's just really inspiring. So that's why I wanted to have you on the show today.
Thank you. Yeah, I like to work.
You do,
Yeah.
but you also do photography as well.
Yeah, I do photography.
Mm-hmm.
As a filmmaker, you need to know how to take professional photo.
Mm-hmm.
And when you study, actually they teach you first how to take professional photo.
Mm-hmm.
Then you forward to learn how to make a film or professional video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So basically, we learn first taking photo,
Mm-hmm.
then filmmaking. Actually, it's kind of bridge.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I think about photography.
Mm-hmm.
If you are a filmmaker, you definitely know how to take photo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. I think before I studied film, I was always the one to take the photograph because I could see the image in the image, the almost the mise en scène, if you will.
Yeah.
The story within the story. And I think the art of a good photograph is to be able to tell the most story you can in one single frame.
Yeah, and sometimes it is really hard to take a photograph and put all your composition in one single scene.
Mm-hmm.
Harder than sometimes a video composition.
Mm.
Yeah, and for me sometimes actually a bit boring because videography is much more excited for me.
Yeah, me
Because,
too.
yeah. There's a lot of characters, more stories, and motion pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's make me more excited. Actually, I always say that this true to my students here in Sydney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think telling a story as a filmmaker is something that blossoms in you and as a voice. I found it because you can learn the tools of how to take a photograph, or you can learn the tools of how to be a videographer. But that's just a skill to do. I think the real talent behind it is how to become a storyteller, how to put these images together to make it make sense, or to invoke an idea into an audience member, or have that intention. I think I've talked about this before. I suffer the death of the author all the time. I make a piece of art and I might have an intention for it, but that doesn't mean that's how it's going to be received by an audience person. Do you ever find that sort of thing when you're making art?
Yeah, but storytelling is really important part, being a filmmaker. And firstly, like, you really need to know how to build the story with your characters. So this also sometimes I don't think like the way how you think, but that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think but that's the art of putting it together. Do you do a lot of editing?
No, because editing is boring for me. I mostly work with other editors time to time, but I do also editing. Yeah.
Do you do the because I notice you have a lot of promotional material out there. You do behind the scenes a lot.
Yes.
Which I think is a very smart idea. We were talking about this off air earlier. Is about there's two parts of being a filmmaker. You have to be that storyteller, but you also have to have a bit of business ideas and how to run a business. And I think my advice to a lot of people is always make the behind the scenes content because people will watch it. They want to see what's behind the curtain. Do you edit most of those pieces together?
Yeah, I do edit this, and sometimes people really curious about this behind the scenes, and sometimes they are really more interested to see the behind the scenes more than the real project. So
I experience this a lot.
Yeah, and also I do use this for advertisement for my projects. and then easy way to reach other people who want to work with me.
Yeah, I think it's very smart. It's a very smart thing to do.
Yeah.
And because people, especially on social media, people like to look and have, to be a bit of a voyeurist and to look out at for things. Like, people see content all the time, but what they don't get to see a lot of is how that content's made. I think even on the weekend you were on a shoot. I saw you were shooting something on a smartphone with a gimbal.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was that little project? Because was that a commercial project, or because you were filming a dog with the sunglasses on?
It's just a character, one of character. It was a promotional video clip of a mobile bar, and they like to produce this video clip on Instagram and their YouTube channels. And I work with iPhone Pro 11, and I use gimbal. It was really easy. Sometimes I do produce using those iPhone and the gear with iPhone. Sometimes it's make the things easier, and I save time. And also people like to see the result after we shoot. So if I use much more professional gears like camera and also different location with all this camera lighting, it will take more time to edit all these things together. But with iPhone and other things is much more easier, sometimes better for this kind of commercial stuff.
Yeah, for the commercial stuff,
Yeah.
yeah, I tend to agree. I think sometimes when you remember when phones started changing, where they started to become really good. Like when you see a digital image on a phone, you're like, that's only suitable for a screen, as big as your thumbnail. But now, especially because I've got the iPhone 11 as well, I'm just amazed at how much you can do with it.
Yeah.
From I even use it for astrophotography. Like, I plug it into a telescope to photograph planets.
Yeah.
That's how powerful that phone is.
So why don't we use this phone and...
Well, white balance, you don't have to white balance it. You don't have to, and focusing, and it has they have amazing autofocus. I don't know, it's when I started out as a filmmaker, your most devastating moment is when you've shot something perfectly and it's a little bit soft. It's a little bit, fuzzy. It's got a bit of that Gaussian blur on it. And you're like, I've just ruined this shot by one attribute. But I think with the phone, these worries tend to sort of peel away.
Yeah, it's looks like much more mirror image, and people like to see the pictures, the brightness pictures, like bright pictures. So it is easy to capture these scenes by using iPhone, and also people really interested to use that kind of phones by themselves, and then they are coming to ask me to teach them how to use their iPhone and how to edit this image by using on their phone. So sometimes it is necessary to learn how to use the phone that you have.
Yeah, when I was because I used to do not tutorials but workshops for a university, and using different cameras and different capture techniques. And the iPhone 4 was out at the time, so I was given the task to shoot and edit and publish a video from just a phone. And I remember editing on an iPhone 4, which was very clunky and difficult.
Yeah.
Very time consuming, as opposed to going into Final Cut or Premiere Pro, something like that. And at the time I think it was Final Cut 7 is what I was using back then. I think I'm showing my editing age there. Editing on a phone from iPhone 4 to iPhone 11 is night and day. I think you can do it so much easier.
Yes.
And it's more accessible. And I think that's the thing that's attractive to young people and students, is they have this power in their pocket. This amazing power to show images. And look, even from a perspective of what we're going through at the moment, with the civil rights movements at the moment, this is all done because of images from a phone.
Yeah.
So this is the power that this device has.
Yeah, let's use this power for future.
Yeah, and use it for good. I like the idea of creating good things and shooting to make something rather than destroy it.
Yes.
And I hate seeing things used in for propaganda purposes. And well, the irony is that film actually come out of a propaganda machine. That's where it was born.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's why they call it pre-production. It has very military terminology in film. They call it shooting. Or they call it, they call action. There's all these very, warlike terminologies that go in.
Something's different that you think. I never thought something's like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different perspective. Yeah, I will think about it more later. But it's kind of a big preparation for some things which is real, but it is like not happening at the moment or will happen in future. Like we are just preparing for some things which is real but not happening at the moment, but also it is happening at the moment for future.
Yeah.
It is maybe kind of war.
Yeah. Well,
art war.
War of the arts.
War of the arts.
Yeah, I like. Wow, we've just coined a terminology here today. How fantastic!
Yeah.
But look, as I said, I've been looking at your content online with admiration. You've worked overseas extensively. I think one thing I was looking at was the. I think it was called the Art Laboratory. Can you tell us about the Art Laboratory?
I was 21 when I found the art laboratory in Turkey. After I graduate my filmmaking school in Turkey, I just realized I need to do something more for my future projects, artistic projects. Then I collapse the artist with me. Then I found this laboratory. Then I just run the project on art laboratory. I teach, I give workshops about theater, performance, also filmmaking, videography, and it's really it was really grateful time for me because I learned a lot. I learned a lot by teaching, by creating with others. It was really nice time. Then I went to European countries. I continued to give the artistic workshops there about acting, filmmaking, script writings. Now it is continuing in another part of the world here in Australia.
Yeah, wow! I think that's amazing, and how awesome to go to different countries and just do film and pass on your knowledge to people on how to do film. I think it's great. I've always dreamt of doing workshops. I've done some workshops, but for an organisation, never on my sort of own accord. And sometimes I've thought about that because I think teaching is powerful.
Yeah.
Teaching, I find, when I want to hone in on a skill, teaching someone, it increases your skill as well. It's not just about giving someone knowledge, it enhances you because then you have to go over what you've learnt and you solidify that knowledge. And so I really, and as well, I think it's always a buzz to light a fire under someone young and show them how to be a storyteller and show them how to use a camera, because then that you unlock something in them and it gives them this power, this tool, and I'd like to see them go out into the world and do well. You guys know who you're out there. Every time you see me, you owe me a beer, by the way. No, made a few editors, made a few cameramen. It's certainly a great feeling. But you're making what was the your current project is named close to your production company, Peacock.
Yeah, my latest movie made in Poland, 2017. Peacock.
Yeah, and can you tell us a little bit about what Peacock is, or we can't go into that yet?
Yeah, we can go.
We can.
We are free to go with Peacock because I think a week ago or 2 weeks ago I made an online premiere for Peacock. It was not published and 2 weeks ago, now it is published on YouTube.
Oh, so you've recently just published it?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic.
After 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I keep it for 3 years because it was just going to other festivals around the world. And now everybody can watch the Peacock.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't tell about Peacock. Oh my God.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go back to the start. So, what inspired you to make this film?
My life and my perspective of life. Yeah. Because when I watch the movie now, it is more meaningful for me. When I was making Peacock, it was also meaningful, but now it is more meaningful because now I understand more what am I telling in that movie. But 3 years ago or 5 years ago, when I just wrote the story, 2014, I wrote the story, and 2016, 2017, I realized the movie. Now 2020, when I back to watch the movie, I learn more.
Interesting.
Yeah, from the movie, from the story, also about the subject that I am discussing with people who is acting, like because they are the characters on the storyline, and they are telling some things using my words, using my imagination, and when I look at them again and again, I learn more.
Yeah, because there's a piece of you, and you've got them to, because you've written this story. Because I've had this experience as well as a writer director. I think the hardest thing to do is to write a story.
Yes,
it's the hardest part. Once you've written it, it starts to come to light.
Yeah.
Then you start producing it, start auditioning actors, and all of a sudden, I start finding at the when at the audition stage, you start to hear your words come to life. You get to start to see your words come to life, and when you're shooting, you're then watching a camera take these images and this performance, bringing your words to life.
Yeah, it's like a baby that you have it with you, because in that time I just told to my mother, this is my baby, will born with me. So as an artist, sometimes it is not easy to explain what you have in your mind. Using the screen, using filmmaking tools, sometimes it is not also enough. You need to put something more. So I always try to put something more. This is why I like experiment. And the Peacock movie is an experimental movie. One master shot, 12 minutes, 23 actors, and all the people behind the scene is totally more than 60.
Wow, so you're looking at like almost 100-person production for how long? 2 minutes?
13.
13 minutes.
13. About
Wow.
one master shot.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
One master shot, okay. So like a continuous master?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You should watch the movie.
I should watch this film.
Of course.
Yeah, no, I'll totally be watching it. And guys, don't forget to go and check out this film at Peacock Productions on YouTube.
Yes, Peacock Film Productions on YouTube. They can find out.
Yeah, 13 minutes of a continuous master shot.
Yeah.
And you've obviously cut in other shots, or is it just one continuous?
No, one continuous, no cut.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a long continuous shot.
Very long one.
The longest I've done is about a minute, I think. And that's usually a conveyance shot, when you're following a character into different rooms, and you may then pivot off them and go to another character. I've done stuff like that, but never 13 minutes.
Yeah, never 13 minutes, and also with 23 actors. 2 of them was children. I really like to shoot one feature movie in same language, like using master shot technique again. I want to do this.
That's an insane challenge.
Yeah.
To do a feature film as a continuous shot. It has been done. It's been done before. but and I think those that have attempted it before don't necessarily do it in one continuous shot. They'll do it in several continuous shots with a nice blending point. I'd be hard pressed to think of an example. I've looked into this about a year ago, actually. Extended films for continuous shots, but yeah, how amazing to choreograph 23 people.
Yeah.
Just in a normal production is difficult.
Yes, it's difficult, but actors, performers, dancers, singers was extremely professional, and they did a good job. Really.
Can I ask you a question about it? How many takes did you do?
How many takes? More than 22.
22 takes.
Yeah, because I'm not good about numbers. I already talked this before with other interviews and blah blah, but more than 22s.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you know what number you took? Which one was the baby?
Before the last one, I think.
The second last.
Yes.
Well, it would have been worth it. But when you get to put it, and obviously you've put it across to multiple film festivals, and did the actors get to see their work up on the screen?
Yeah.
Because that's a fantastic reward to give somebody.
Yeah, they were also excited to see themselves on the screen on one master shot, and yeah, they see, and me, I also see. Now everybody can see on YouTube.
Yeah, I think. Oh wow, what an amazing feat! But I think you're very proactive filmmaker. I was looking through your Vimeo account. And it's one of the best Vimeo accounts I've looked at. It's
thank you.
So well put together and such variety. Documentaries, dramas. What was one of the ones that you made? It wasn't recent, I don't think. It was The Egg. That was for the art laboratory, was it not? Or
art laboratory is a kind of combination of my production works. It is the first step. To grow up, then it continued with film productions, Peacock Film Productions. So The Egg was before Peacock Film, 2016. It's made in Poland, and it was also experimental, poetic movie. And yeah, the people can see also this on Vimeo or YouTube.
Yeah, guys, go and check out Peacock Productions on Vimeo and on YouTube.
Yeah. You know, I really don't like to talk about the movies that I shoot. Like, what is it, or what the character are telling the audience.
But I'm more interested in the experience that you had.
Yeah.
Making it and your reasons for doing it. Why choose out of all of filmmaking challenges you could pick? Why pick the continuous shot? Why do this experimental film?
Yeah, I tell you why. Not all the reasons, but several reasons maybe. Because I like to write poem, and poem is like a real life. So when you write the poem, you need to read the poem from the beginning till the end in one time. Yeah.
You can't sort of sample a poem. You've got to take it all in.
Yeah, you can't stop and continue while reading poem. This is what I am telling. Movie is the same, because if you stop the movie, what will happen? Your world will be changed, because you are going to this imagination in 1 or 2 hours, as the director wants you to be in. So the poem is like that. When you read it, you don't stop. You read till the end, and the movie is the same. Like you read, you watch till the end. Yeah, you can stop the movie. You can continue to do different things. But if you are a serious watcher, movie lover, you get the things serious when you watch movie. So when you read poem, it is the same. You need to go into this poem and feel the words. And when you watch movie, you need to go into the movie, feel the screens, and feel the characters. then you can understand what the director or producer telling you
because
about the story.
you keep that momentum.
Yes.
Otherwise, you'll lose that momentum and change your state of mind.
It's like, think about theater. You are on the stage, and if you are an actor, I don't know, have you ever been on stage before?
No, not on a. Well, only as a singer.
Yeah,
Not-
as a singer is a nice example as well, because it is a stage. So when you are on the stage, when you look at the audience, it looks like they are not there. There is no one. It's only you.
That's very true, yeah.
Yeah, and there is only darkness. It's like a loneliness.
Yeah, well, you're normally covered in light, so you
Yes.
can't actually see who's out
You
there.
can't see,
Yeah.
but when you are there doing your art, making your art, or doing your performance as a singer, actor, you are doing, like, you are in a kind of paradox.
It's totally a paradox because
Yes.
you're self-serving. You're doing it for yourself, but you're doing it for other people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you need to keep the things, all feelings, all the stories to yourself. Then you can provide all the things in story to the audience. So you need to be in this paradox, like going down or going up. So watching a movie, you need to be serious. So you need to be like you are an actor on the stage, giving your feelings to your audience. But as a watcher or as an audience, if you are not serious as a actor, you can't understand, or you cannot find the point.
Yeah, without that, removing that pressure of having that.
Yeah.
You're talking about like putting pressure on someone to go, well, you have to do it start to end, and that will bring this momentum and this energy with it.
Yeah, this is energy. It's not a pressure. Like, this is just the energy. If you want to understand what is really on that screen, or what is the main topic of the story, if you really want to have this experience, putting yourself as the character of the story, you need to be serious. As the people was serious while making this art projects, which is movie, theater, performance. This is what I think. So
You've just blown my mind. I totally agree. I've always thought this, but you've just vocalized how I feel. It's amazing.
that's good.
No, sorry. Oh gosh. Well, you were talking before about amazing. You were talking before about writing Peacock, for instance, and just on this, you were talking about writing Peacock and your experience where you've written this thing, you've produced this thing, you've directed this thing, and then years later, afterwards, you can see more parts of yourself.
Yeah.
And I just find it interesting to. When you have an idea, where does it come from? Obviously, it comes from this subconscious layer within you. Do you feel that?
Yeah, similar. Because I don't force myself to write the things. Never. It's truly coming to me. It's just personal. And this personal idea becoming universal because you are an artist. It's you can't keep this personal idea only for you. It's make you annoying. You have to throw this idea or feelings or the story because you see a reality, and this reality becoming your part. What you have to do, you have to share. Then you can be free.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like I just want to tell that
Sure.
because I was talking about writing a poem, then I was talking about making a movie.
For the continuous shot.
Yeah, for the continuous shot. But most of my movie was a poem in the beginning. This is what I want to tell. First I wrote as a poem. I don't think it will be a movie in the future. But when I go back to the poem, I see the movie, or I see the performance or a theater or a dance. So they become a movie because I want to change them. I want I just want to make the poems into movie and using my ability experience. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, how cool. Wow. I dig what you're saying, though, about having an idea and sharing it.
Yeah.
Because it is personal. Even when because I go through quite a meticulous process when I write a story. I won't start typing straight away. I'll get cue cards and I write little ideas on cards and I stick them on a wall. And then I put them so they make sense in a narrative arc. And then I have a character list. And then I build those characters and what makes them tick. So then I can give those references to an actor. Okay, this is what this person thinks. This is how they think. Give them some leverage on the idea. And then they can express how they want from that point. And I only start populating the dialogue after that process. And the way you talk about how just let it come. Just let it... I have this experience where I let it leave my hands. And once it leaves my hands, that splinter in my mind is being taken out.
Yeah.
And I really resonate with that idea. I think that's a really... and ironically, I think it's a real poetic way of saying that.
Yeah.
I think it's an important thing as a storyteller and as someone who gets... that needs to tell stories. Because I think I'll go back to what I was saying before about how you can learn how to use a camera. You can learn how to take a photograph. But the journey is learning how to tell a story. I find that is the journey. And then you've got to start questioning why. Why do I want to tell these stories?
Yeah.
Why is it important to me? And I think that paradox of that performer is really relevant. There is a part of being selfish of telling a story because you go, well, I need to tell this story.
Yeah.
But the objective of it is to entertain people, which is selfless. It's a selfless act. So there's these two acts that one is selfless and one is selfish. And I find that paradox often when I'm writing.
But when you make the project universal, it is not selfish or selfless anymore. It's becoming something else. It is a universal. It is universe project that everybody can touch, everybody can
access and look at.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then this makes you free. This is what I am telling that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
What an outlook. You've totally blown my mind. Thank you. Good grief. Oh, I've lost my screen behind me. It's just blue. Normally I have a hypnotic screen over there.
Oh, yeah. I was, yeah.
Was it hypnotic before?
Yeah, but then it's blue now.
Now it's just blue. The computer's clearly shut down and it's had enough. It may have crashed. I've run it to death, that poor thing. That computer was actually part of, you know Vivid in the city where they put projections on buildings?
Yeah, I saw that.
They were selling their older computers from Vivid projectors and I got like a little mini Mac for half price.
Oh, nice.
And I run it here and I run it constantly. I'm terrible. I've always got movies going or something. Always got something going. So do you have any new projects in the pipeline coming up?
Yes.
Right,
I was waiting for that. For about 1.5 years, I am here in Sydney. Firstly, I was a kind of observer. I observe everything because I was new. And to make a project, I need to know what is here, what is going on in that land, you know. Then after 1.5 years, I say, okay, this is the time. I'm going to make a documentary film project here in Australia. It will be about the people who migrate from other countries to Australia. And I will tell about a brief history of Australia. Then the people who migrate here for a reason or for no reason.
Yeah, well, something that
Yeah.
has some gravity or just
Yeah.
because.
Yeah.
I get what you mean.
Yeah, and I'm gonna make this documentary film. I don't know when it will be realized, but it's a long process actually making a documentary film.
Totally.
Because you are just collecting the document. You are meeting with people who you want to have an interview, and also you are choosing the part that you want to show, a part of historical scenes for the movie. So it's a long process. I will see when it will be end after it start.
Yeah. Well, I find there's a bit of a bridge actually between, because I've made a couple of little documentaries and I made a couple of little genre films, and one of the main things that I do as a business is I do events. So I go and film an event, and there's always this documentary-esque feeling to shooting an event. You've actually shot a couple of events recently, haven't you? There was the Arc Festival. No, was it the Arc Festival? No, it wasn't the Arc Festival.
It was in English or Turkish?
I think it was in Turkish, actually.
Turkish.
Yeah.
So maybe you need to show me. I don't understand.
Maybe I've just researched it wrong. It's terrible.
Maybe.
No, but you filmed a few events though as part of your business, yeah.
You are talking about documentary film or?
No, just doing promos, doing promotions for events.
Oh yeah. If the customers want to promote their event, I do. Yeah.
Because I do a lot of that as well.
Yeah.
And I just I guess my question that's embedded in between those 2 points is, do you see a relationship between making documentaries and doing events? Because events, you go around, you interview people, you go, hey, how's your day going? And you're documenting the event, but it's sort of more of a live feel. Like when I do events, it's more of a live feel. So if I do a car show, you're talking to the people there then and now. You might have a bit of history, but essentially it's just about that one event. But when I do documentaries, they're a bit more in depth. You're tackling more subtext,
and you have to be more careful about the history, especially because history is true. So you need to research more because you will use this history. You will put some screens on your movie, and the events are shortcut. You go there, you interview with people. It's a short story of these people, but in documentary film, you go more deep with the people who are telling their story to the people. Yeah, I will see.
Yeah. So you're in pre-production at the moment. Do you have a working title? What's your working title?
I'm in the pre-production process, and if anyone want to join me as a collaboration, they can contact me actually, because I need to learn more. I'm still observing and researching about some things in Australia. Yeah, and
Well, I think you'll do a really good job. I think you, because you do shooting yourself, you're writing and directing, and I think some of your content is pristine. It is very well produced, and I think, sorry to make you blush about it, but I'm just telling you the truth. I think it's just,
thank you.
I think it's very good. I think, especially just looking at, because I look at a lot of Vimeo channels and I look at a lot of YouTube channels, and I think your content it's already at a very high standard, and I think from there, if you once you start making more films in Australia, I think you will do very well, because I think you already have that business mind. We were talking about, we're talking about it off air. When you go to film school, they make the filmmaker, but they don't make the business person.
Yes,
they don't.
Yeah, it's a problem, big problem, because the production is one of most important things that people need to learn. And if you want to produce your movie, you need to be kind of business person. So no one can teach you how to become a business person. People here in Australia, I see many advertisement on Facebook, Instagram. They are teaching how to become a business person or how to become a rich. So sometimes it is funny for me. So you can't teach this.
But I think you can learn it though.
You can learn it by yourself.
But by yourself,
Yeah, but you don't need anyone to teach you how to become a business person.
Yeah.
It's all about budget.
Yeah.
You know, if you have budget, you can be a business person very well.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, I think when it comes down, personally, I think shortening your overhead without being too crazy, and trying to make the most profit you can.
Yeah.
Well, that's how you want to approach it. But I find it the hardest thing in business and with commercial clients that I have is translating to them what the product will be, because some people, when they go to buy an advertisement off you, if you're going to make an advertisement or a promotional bit of material, sometimes they don't understand what platform it's going to go to. They don't really have in their mind what they want.
Yeah.
You need to sort of figure out what they want and then articulate it for them. And then keep their expectations real. Like some people, they go, just show up with an iPhone and I want it to look like Avatar. You know, it's just...
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, it's not going to work that way. I find that's the hardest thing with that. But I think as well, I recommend for people to get into production to learn business, because you will learn it. It's part and parcel. If you're trying to sell images, you're going to learn the business end of film production.
Yeah,
you just will.
It's also about time and experience. And when you are 19 or 20s, first 20s, you don't have enough experience to do business. After you have enough experience, you can do business better. It's all about experience and time. It's in my opinion.
Yeah, I have to agree. I was a musician before I was a filmmaker, and because you're 19 years old and you want to join a band because you're going to be in the best rock band that the earth has ever seen at 19. And and sometimes you go out there and you realize, oh wow, it's not just about being a musician, I've got to get to a gig.
Yeah.
So how do you set up a gig? You've got to talk to a venue, you've got to promote your gig, you've got to pay your overheads. How are you getting your band to the gig? It's going to cost you petrol money. And you start, and where do you rehearse, and how do you rehearse? How much do you invest in your instruments? There's this business side and administrative side, and I find there's a strong correlation between film and music. These arts industries they're interchangeable in a lot of ways. From an administration point of view, scheduling, like if you can't run Excel, then you should learn.
Yes, definitely.
So, I think it's very important to learn business, but the only way to learn it is to chuck yourself into it.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Would you describe yourself that way? Have you just dove off this cliff of creativity and figured out how to do business along the way?
Yeah. Anymore. It is like that.
But I think, but you certainly, again though, come back to, you certainly are doing well with it. I think every time the old scroll through Facebook. When you've got a minute where you're waiting for a bus, well, not these days because we're all locked inside, but when we used to wait for buses or wait for public transport, you'd go through your phone. Every spare moment I go through my phone like most people, and I'm always seeing you do something different. Like I think we were talking about it before. You're photographing a dog with glasses on this weekend. The weekend before, you were doing a modelling shoot, I think.
Tomorrow I'm gonna do another modelling shoot. I like a fashion shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a bit of a difference between the buzz in filmmaking and doing a model shoot? Because you do both of these things all the time.
Yeah. When you say filmmaking, it is film or video.
Oh yes, that's good.
Yeah,
that's an important distinction.
Yeah,
because video making is promotion.
Yes,
it's promotion.
Yeah,
filmmaking that's your art.
Yeah, I would like to make another movie very soon in near future after I realize this documentary movie, hopefully. Because it is my passion. It is where I need to be, you know. But here, I just act as people is desired. Like they come to me and they say, Gökçe, you have this ability, you have this experience, and I need this video to be done on that date. Can you help me? Yes. If someone come to me, Gökçe, you have this ability, oh, you're a filmmaker, and I like you to make this movie for me. Yes. I can.
It does go a lot. It does go that way a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is like that now. And tomorrow is a kind of photo and video shoot, fashion, and then other shoot is tomorrow, promotional video clip again. Kind of testimonial. How you say?
Yeah, testimonials. That's right.
Testimonial video clip.
Hi, I'm Ross from Still Searching Productions, and I think Ross does a superb job.
Yes. But yeah.
That was my own personal testimonial for all you guys out there.
But you say like teaching is very good, very powerful. I agree.
Totally.
It's make you, it's keep you young.
Yeah, it keeps you sharp. Yeah.
Young and powerful. Maybe one day you can teach how to broadcast, you know, to people. Maybe.
Yeah.
It's another idea.
Yeah, totally. Well, I've been how many times have I've been in broadcast? I've been in the broadcast industry for about 10 years.
Very long time.
Yeah. I used to control TV networks as one of my jobs. So you know, Channel 10. I'd control all the Channel 10 across Australia. Yeah. Like all of those transmissions. And they're all like itemised per region. So, you know, what's the way I can... Ballarat versus, you know, Shepparton, you know, all over the place. Yeah. And you'd control... Essentially, Channel 10 is 200 channels. Like if you break up Channel 10 and just Channel 10, not like you know that Channel 11 and you know all that other sort of business they have behind it. Just the main channel, the primary flagship channel, that would break up into 200 pieces across Australia. And as a broadcaster, you control that network, and it's very a high stress job.
Yeah, I think so.
I think the most I've ever had at the end of my mouse was about 1 million people. So you've got 1 million people at the end of your mouse watching your content. Very strange feeling because you have a lot of power, but you've got to make sure that it's accurate, prestigious, to the letter, to the frame work that's done live. So you know when people watch the football, you'll see you know someone score a goal, and they roll to a commercial. I used to be the guy that roll that commercial. You just go to commercial on live TV. At other levels, I've done like Television Sydney, which is community TV, which I really miss. I really miss that industry. That industry sort of went belly up in the last few years. But yeah, now into podcasting, I'm really enjoying it. I get to talk to fabulous people and learn so much.
Nice.
Yeah, I think what you've blown my mind today, especially talking about paradoxes. Because this is how I felt for a while. I think even talking to my wife about it, she was like, just stop banging on about paradoxes. I can't wait to tell her actually about this episode already.
I'm so happy that
and I think it's a comforting thing doing shows like this. I find it important, and I think I can get and as well the bonus out of it, because again, that's for me, doing the podcast is a paradox. Selfishly, I want to become a better speaker and a better listener, and out of that I get to promote artists, you know, so that's the paradox to me. That's the selfish and selflessness. But like you say, you've added another piece to the puzzle for me today. Once those two things intersect, it's now universal.
Yes.
It's beyond your control.
Of course.
It has now left your hands. I can't remember who it was, but I've been suffering it a lot, and it's called death of the author. As soon as you publish, you're dead. It's over.
Yeah, it's somehow, yes, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
But
the other things start soon.
They do.
Never give up. Okay, you did some things. It's over. You have to accept that. But then you have to accept to continue.
Yeah. I think during a production, I think this came up a couple of podcasts ago, during production, right around your last days of filming, you will be probably really stressed out because you've rescheduled things, actors haven't shown up on time, you've got them to show up on time, you've done this choreography, auditioning process to get everyone to do the right thing for the correct minute while on film.
Yeah.
That can be a stressful process, but it's a buzz. It's, for me, I think you brought it up earlier, the contrast between photography and doing film. Film is full of adrenaline. It's way more intense than just taking a photograph. Being a photographer is fun, but doing film, that's like, the Formula One versus the go-kart.
That is a challenge.
It's a big challenge.
Making a movie.
Totally.
Producing a movie and then put it on screen is also a challenge in that time.
Distribution. Yeah, you've made it. Now you've got to sell it.
In that time, it's very, very big challenge.
But that's right, a big plug for Made in the West. That's why I like to get people's content with a DCP digital cinema package on a screen that's 4 stories high where they get to see their content. And the reward for me is then looking at these filmmakers, they're going, holy shit, my film's up on this big screen.
Very nice feeling.
It's a very nice feeling. And there's bums on seats watching it,
Yeah.
Getting those bums on seats is fantastic. I remember one of my first film screenings, I had 300 people watching my film in a cinema. And I'll never, ever forget that feeling.
Very nice feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what a great feeling. I can't even put words to it because you're like, well, this is my work and it's up there, and then people are enjoying it as well. Like it's not just your friends and family, it's the other people. It's the other people, the extended audience.
Then they ask you some question and they just think how you think, They just try to figure out the view that you create for them. It's really good because after you realize if you don't share, it is nothing. Even you have very, very big project, but you didn't publish it. You didn't find a way to publish. Who will know it is exist?
Yeah, it's always hidden. I think it's a big problem with filmmakers. I talk to a lot of filmmakers. And more often than not, I will talk to them and they will tell me, I've made 10 projects, but I've only released 3. And then you think, why didn't you release the other 7? That would boil me. I need to distribute my film. Once I've made it, I need to distribute it. And it comes back to what I was talking about before. Like, you go through all this pressure of making a production, and then you get to the last day and you're like, I can't do this ever again. This is so hard. And then once you've wrapped, you go, so what's my next project?
Yeah.
You'll go straight to that straight away. You'll go from this high intense, oh God, I can't do this anymore, to, all right, well, I better get back writing and I better get another project going.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it happens every time. But I do recommend, guys, get out there and make some films. Like, all you got to do is write it down. And there's plenty of knowledge out there how to learn how to do film.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's and we were talking about it before. Doing workshops, being a part of things like the I've lost the name of it. The art laboratory.
Yeah.
I think that's great. I think that's absolutely fantastic to run workshops around the world, teaching and inspiring people.
Yeah.
But I think look, that's all we've got time for today. We're about to, my camera's about to go, so I've got to wrap it up really quickly. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And where could people find you again? At Peacock Productions YouTube?
Yeah, Peacock Film Productions on YouTube, Instagram. Yeah.
And Vimeo.
Vimeo, of course.
Yeah, check out the Vimeo channel.
I will upload my Vimeo channel. I haven't looked at long time.
For something that hasn't been updated, it's pretty good.
I will update.
But as well, guys, while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to the Pagey Train and go across to Facebook and tick like. You have been aboard the Pagey Train, and we'll see you next time. All right, that's it.
Thank you.
The show is done.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on the show today. What a great show.
Thank you. Yeah, I like it very much.
Yeah.